If you like the content of this video or the content of my channel, click like, subscribe if you want to. But more importantly, go nowhere. Let's create. Chile! You heard me? Chile. And this is wild boar chile. But if you don't have wild boar, you can try with pork. They are the same family. They look different physically, and the meat is similar, but just there's some difference too. Like the taste, wild boar tastes better, and it's leaner. The meat is leaner. I have several ingredients for this chile. I don't want to go through all of them because I'm going to list them in the description. They're going to be listed in the description. But there's a couple I want to mention here. Make sure you have at least a couple tomatoes. One you're going to grind to create a sauce by grinding it. And the other one you're going to cut in chunks. Make sure you have a yellow onion. And this is about a large one, and it's about a quarter. I chop it. And make sure you have 3 or 4 teeth of garlic, maybe 5. Just chop them. Cook it with beans because beans ensure that this doesn't become soupy. You're not making a soup, you're making a chile. I'm going with the small red beans. For every type of chile or different meats, I use a different type of beans. And I have a list of chiles in my description that you can follow, ranging from kangaroo, beef, etc. This one, you can use the dry beans, but make sure they are softened, that you soften them. You know, go to the cooking process to soften them. Or you can use a can, easier. But if you use a can, drain the water. You don't want the extra salt and stuff. Another one I wanted to mention, I like to use broth. Beef broth, 3/4 cup. Water is sufficient. And the rest I'm going to list and I'm going to explain as I go through the process. But it's one more thing. I have jalapeño pepper. I cut it in half. And the other half, I just chop it into slice. You can leave the seeds if you want it hotter, spicier, or you can clean the seeds if you don't want it that way. So for the wild boar, I'm just going to put a little bit of salt, just a little bit. Using sea salt and crunching it. This is a good one. Optionally, you can use some pepper, black pepper, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I have garlic powder. Garlic powder. Not garlic salt, but garlic powder. Going to put a little bit. And mix everything together. Very quickly, I'm going to prepare my own chili powder. That is key for my flavor. So I like to start with 2 tablespoons of paprika. 2 tablespoons of paprika. I like to also have 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika. 2 tablespoons. I say about a tablespoon of coriander. You can go by eye too, kind of approximate things. Coriander, 1 tablespoon. Cumin, 1 tablespoon of ground cumin. Ground, not the seeds, ground. I say about half a tablespoon of garlic powder, which is optional. And I say about half of tablespoon of cayenne ground pepper. And you can adjust the size, just keep the same ratio. 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1/2. And I have some thyme, gone dry. You can use fresh. I say a pinch, just a pinch. What you do now, you mix things together. First thing, I have a cast iron here, preheating. I'm going to, you can use some extra virgin olive oil. You can also use some sunflower oil. I have some duck fat I preserved about 2 years ago. Link in the description and keeping everything gamey. So I'm going to use dog fat to keep it gamey. You know what I mean? Let me put a little bit more. Running out of this baby. You want to preheat this, okay? So I'm going to have this a notch above medium, maybe a medium, a notch or two above medium or medium. Now I'm going to add the milk. And I want to make sure this meat is somewhat darkened and broken down. About 3 minutes later, see how it looks? I broke down. You have to continuously do this. When you cook in it, you don't want it burn. Just takes about 3 minutes. Turn the thing off, taking out the heat, ready for the next step. So I have a pot. I'm not cooking a lot, so it's kind of smallish in size. I'm going to put some of that dog fat, just a little bit, just a tiny bit. If you use extra virgin olive oil or any oil, just put a tiny bit, okay? I have this sit at a couple notches above medium. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the tomatoes. I'm going to add the onions. And I'm going to saute this baby together for a few seconds, okay? Then I'm going to add the tomato sauce. I'm going to let it saute for about 45 seconds to a minute, okay? Now I'm going to add the meat. You can drain it, but I'm going to add some of the juices too. Why not, right? Add the meat. Mix it up. Mix it up. Mix it up. Now I'm going to add some of the beans. Red beans, the small ones. No kidney beans, no anything like that. Just red beans. Let me use the whole thing. This is about 15 ounces, by the way. The meat was 1 pound. Mix it up. Mix it up. Mix it up. Put some garlic teeth, chop. It's about 3, maybe 4 teeth. Give that gamey flavor, right? Keep that gamey, keeping that gamey flavor. Everything natural. Here it comes. Chili powder, homemade. Going to use the whole thing. Let's mix it up. You guys looking? Woohoo! See how beautiful? What I'm going to do now, some people like to add pepper at the end or whatever. Not me. I'm going to add it now. And I'm going to add the ones that I chop, the portion of the jalapeno that I chop. I don't want the raw thing. I want the baby cooked. If you want to add a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit more, you can do that, just a tiny bit more. Just a tiny bit. Now it comes the tricky part. Do you want a soup? You don't want it soupy, right? But you don't want it dry. So now that is going to determine how much of the broth or water you're going to add. I said 3/4 cup. You can put a little bit less than that. The beans are going to help, okay? The beans are going to help absorb a little bit of that. Oh, I still have some powder here. About 2 or 3 minutes later, maybe 2 minutes, what you're going to do is you can add the other pepper. So I don't want it raw. This is just to make it pretty, you know. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this baby and I'm going to let it cook at medium heat for 20 minutes, okay? 20 minutes. It's been 13 minutes, so it's about 7 minutes left. I uncover it. I'm moving it a little bit, stir, because I don't want anything burning at the bottom. In fact, I'm going to reduce the heat from medium to low to take it to those last 5 minutes. Look at this beauty, huh? Ain't that beautiful? I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Let me cover this up. I'm cooking an egg.